Okay guys, this is changing out a fuel sending unit in a 1979 FJ40. What we have here is the fuel sending unit. Pretty neat. They stamped FJ40 on it. It's not focusing. I don't know why, but anyhow. This is the brand new sending unit from City Racer. They seem to have good prices, and I'm in California, so it takes them like a day to get here. And they have lots of parts to pick from on their website. Here's the old one. I had it in here. I just did a restoration on this one, and I'm just not getting any registering on my fuel gauge up there. So I did soak this and scrub it and try and refurbish it. Somebody recommended to check the ohms on it, and I didn't, so I wish I did before I installed it. So on the 79, you have to take your heater off. It's got some hoses connected to it to make it heat up, and that actually is coolant that runs through there, so that's what the rag is for, old boxers. It's leaking. I didn't want to take it off, like pull it off, so I just propped it out of the way. And here is the fuel tank. Let's see about the flashlight. I've got, like I said, I got the old one off, and I'm also looking to see if I have any particles in my fuel tank. It's good to do an inspection of the fuel tank, visual inspection, when you're doing this, because I don't know, these things seem to have trouble because they're carbureted, unless you live in a, not California, and you can rip all that stuff off and put on a Weber fuel injected, that's ideal. Okay, so you're going to cinch down these screws. There's 5 of them. I replaced some of them because they were kind of stripped out. Some of them I'm using. It looks like I've got some coolant leaking here, so make sure your hoses are tightened up good. I still kept these old clamps. They're not the best, but they look cool. The actual paddle on the float is going to be, this thing is going to be facing towards the front, so that your electrical connectors can face backwards. That's where the wiring harness is. So that's one step you have to do first from underneath, or from here. I did it from underneath. It's just in front of your rear axle, and you unplug it, and so I'm just going to put these screws in and plug it back in, and hopefully we have it'll register how much fuel we have in the tank. Okay, so we're still working on the fuel tank sending unit. So I hooked it up, and I don't have, unfortunately it's not registering on the gauge. So I'm just gonna have to trace back the grounds. I don't think it's the cluster, but so that's a work in progress. But while I have it apart, I never had a gasket on the plate for the access to the fuel sending unit. So I'm using some 3M weather strip gasket adhesive and some old weather stripping that I found. So I got that tacked on there, and I'm just going to reassemble it all.